happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. You guys can probably already tell that it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely going to want to check this one out. So we got that airhead of Congress, AOC, rushing to play the victim card after learning that she's now facing prosecution for aiding illegal migrants in their evasion of ICE agents, guys. And I'm excited to get into this, so now I'm straight into it. All I ask that you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And without further ado, let's hop straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
I think this is one of the saddest days in modern American history. This is the largest. Withdrawal and ending of healthcare in American history. 17 million people in our country, 17 million Americans in our country are going to lose their Medicaid. They're going to lose their ACA insurance. Small business owners are going to have their healthcare costs skyrocket, and people are going to have their SNAP and WIC cut back. People are going to go hungry. People are going to get sick on a scale unlike anything we've ever seen. And all of it is just to finance tax cuts for billionaires and the wealthiest corporations who don't even need it. I don't think we have ever seen or are prepared for how catastrophic this is set to be for a lot of people. And I think it's devastating. And they're talking about this as though it's some tax cut. Even the stuff that they're talking about, taxes on tips, no tax on tips, that's only for people, that's only up to $25,000. And if you're making less than that, you're already kind of exempt from a lot of these things in the first place. So they're giving people crumbs and they're taking away the whole loaf. And it's just a genuinely really sad day for our country.
What about Leader Jeffrey's final message, looking ahead to 2026, 2028?
Well, you know, to Leader Jeffries' message, he's right. The best thing that we can do right now is press on. And in order for us to salvage what we have and to build through, we have to chart a new course and a new path to our future. And we have to make sure that there are consequences. If you're on Medicaid, if you're on ACA, if you are on Medicare and rely on Medicaid to help with your long-term care, there has to be consequences to these votes. And we have to decide if this is just a joke or just for TV or if this is our real lives. And I hope people vote like it's our real lives.
All right, guys, so that was that airhead of Congress, AOC, nearly brought to tears and speaking about the passing of the one big beautiful bill. She is trying to put this thing off like she's so sad and so upset that there's been cuts to Medicare and Medicaid that are going to hinder folks all across our nation. But what she's really upset about is the fact that there's been $100 billion allocated to immigration services carrying out the mass deportation efforts of the Trump administration. And somewhere in that $100 billion may be an investigation or funding for an investigation into AOC, because we all know the way that she was trying to aid and abet these illegal migrants and evading ICE agents. We got Border Czar Tom Homan actually speaking on this investigation just the other day.
One final question, Mr. Border Czar, and it has to do with the region of New York and somebody who's in the news a lot lately because she's most likely planning on running for higher office. It'd be Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. AOC has come and what looks like to us crossed the line a number of times, but two very curious stories out of her office. One, as soon as you were able to regain your position as border czar, AOC had a criminal alien who was working in her congressional staff flee the country. Now, I can't quite square how that's possible. How is somebody allowed to be a criminal alien in this country and then go work in Congress where you have access to classified material and you have access to a lot of important information? And then AOC has gone on and obviously taught publicly illegal aliens how to avoid ICE. She's done this with some of her colleagues in the squad. Here's the article of the criminal alien staffer that AOC had on staff. Maybe you could just start here and as an explainer to me and to this audience, like, how's this even possible?
It's not possible, and I know that's being looked at. I can't comment on past that. I'm aware of it. We've asked ICE to drill in on that case. It's my information that there were actually can't really comment on it. We don't know if it was illegal status or not at this point. It looks like it might have been temporary status, but I can't comment on the case. It's under investigation. Mm-hmm. As far as her educating people how to evade ICE arrest, she's really educating them on how to be prosecuted, because there are statutes on the books, federal statute, when you knowingly hinder your removal, that's a crime. When you take steps to prevent your removal after being ordered removed by a federal judge, it's a crime. We have instructed ICE to start prosecuting these cases. If you don't want to open the door, and we have a final order removal, if you don't want to participate in getting travel documents for your home nation, you take steps to hinder your own removal, that it's a crime, you'd be prosecuted. So she can claim she's educating people to constitutional rights. I'd argue she's educating many people on how to be prosecuted. You're going to see that happening.
All right, so we're seeing not only was AOC teaching folks how to stay in this country illegally by evading ICE, but she also was employing illegal aliens within her office. This is a story that didn't get too much coverage. I'm pretty sure I've seen Timcast covering this one. This article coming from the Post Millennial on the AOC aide in the United States illegally self-deporting himself to Colombia.
Let's jump to the story from the Post Millennial. AOC aide in the U.S. illegally self-deports to Colombia. Say what?
Victory.
She employed an illegal immigrant? That's a crime, isn't it?
That is
I
a
feel
crime.
like. Well, hold on. I got to get the context here. What's going on? An aide to AOC self-deported after being in the U.S. illegally. Diego de la Vega said he has freedom of movement in Colombia now after he overstayed his visa in the U.S. Okay, so overstayed visa. Did she hire him when he was allowed to work here? What's going on?
So this is one that's definitely raising a couple of brows. Let's dive a little deeper into this, get some context into what happened with AOC. No way did she hire an illegal immigrant to work within her office. This one starts saying, according to the Washington Free Beacon, De La Vega left the United States in December after he overstayed his visa that he received when he was 7 years old. Okay, so there's different ways, or there's different lengths of visas with the United States. I'm not sure. Some are like 1 year, some are 9 months, some are 10 years, but I'm not sure that you get one from age 7 all the way up to age 30. That's the one that kind of boggles my mind. Maybe AOC did hire this illegal immigrant after he'd overstayed his visa. But let's continue on. It says on Wednesday, Ocasio-Cortez praised De La Vega, saying that we love him. The aid of self-deportation came shortly after President Donald Trump was elected in November. And since becoming president, he has pushed for mass deportation effort, starting with those here illegally that are also committing other crimes. De La Vega has relocated to Bogota to be with his wife, who is another illegal immigrant to the United States. In an interview with a Migrant Insider, the aide said that he was illegalized to the United States and that he would have a freedom movement in Colombia. Okay, and this right here just makes the most sense. I mean, if you're here in our country illegally and then you go back to your home country, of course you're going to have free range, freedom of movement, because it's where you belong. Let's continue though. It says it is not clear how De La Vega was able to be employed by the lawmaker, although he was barred from working in Congress because of his legal status. De La Vega told the outlet Migrant Insider that he lived in fear of deportation because he was in the U.S. illegally. Okay, that's kind of a no-brainer. He also added that he may return at some point many years down the line. He also added that he had a pretty good childhood in New York growing up. You guys, so this is a story. We didn't get too much on it, but this one kind of blows my mind that that airhead of Congress, AOC, would be this silly to be hiring illegal immigrants within her office. And then AOC is not helping whatsoever. She is pushing that very dangerous rhetoric. We've seen her, crying about the one big beautiful bills passing. And now, as a result of the dangerous rhetoric being pushed by that airhead of Congress, AOC, we're starting to see folks lashing out, assaulting ICE agents.
Federal authorities provided new details about an ambush attack on officers at an immigration detention facility in North Texas. A police officer was shot in the neck outside the detention center in Alvarado Friday. Fox 4's Amelia Jones in studio with the latest tonight. Amelia.
Clarice, the Alvarado police officer who was shot is expected to recover. The Department of Justice says this marks the 5th assault on law enforcement officers in the Northern Texas district this year. Nearly a dozen people are now facing multiple federal charges.
Make no mistake, this was not a so-called peaceful protest. It was indeed an ambush.
Monday, the Department of Justice shared new details on a shooting at the Prairieland Detention Center in Alvarado, south of Fort Worth. Officials say around 10:30 p.m. on July 4th, a group of 10 to 12 people dressed in black military-style clothing shot off fireworks and vandalized the facility.
They engaged in the graffiti, they damaged vehicles and a guard structure. The graffiti had such words as traitor, ice pig, other profanity.
Officials say this was a ruse to draw out the ICE personnel, and it worked. 2 unarmed corrections officers went to speak with the vandals. Meanwhile, the group signaled a gunman nearby. Alvarado police responded to a 911 call at the facility. When the officer got there, he was shot in the neck, and another assailant fired 20 to 30 rounds at the unarmed corrections officers. When the suspects fled the scene, the Johnson County Sheriff's Office stopped a vehicle leaving the detention center.
There was a single driver in that vehicle. The sheriff deputy saw in plain sight a firearm. Another firearm was in the back seat, and there were 2 Kevlar ballistic-style vests also in that vehicle.
According to court documents, this driver told the sheriff deputy he met some people online and took them from Dallas to the detention center to, quote, make some noise. On the detention center property, sheriff deputies stopped 7 individuals near where the Alvarado police officer was shot.
Some were wearing body armor, some were covered in mud, some were armed, and some had 2-way radios on them.
When authorities searched the area, they found more body armor, spray paint, and flyers with anti-ICE messaging.
Over the course of the weekend, additional related searches occurred. We found masks, goggles, tactical gloves. One residence of one of the defendants, there was additional body armor. There was a cache of 9 additional weapons, spray paint, fireworks, and again, insurrectionist material.
The Department of Justice charged the 10 suspects with 3 counts of attempted murder of a federal officer and 3 counts of discharging a firearm in relation to a crime of violence. An additional co-conspirator is charged with obstruction of justice and conspiracy for attempting to conceal and destroy evidence in relation to the attack. He faces up to 10 years in prison.
This will not be tolerated. Those who use violence against law enforcement officers will be found and they will be prosecuted with the toughest criminal statutes and penalties that we have available to us.
Yo, there we have it, guys. Oh my goodness. And this is a direct result. I mean, it's so sad to see, but this is a direct result of the dangerous rhetoric being pushed out by folks on the left. We've seen the same thing happening. I mean, you never know who your audience is or who's out there listening, especially in the day and age that we live in. There are so many folks that take messages wrong. And if you're putting out blatant messages saying that, you know, ICE is doing that, they're harming the community, they're a danger to our nation, a threat to our democracy, guess what's going to happen? Attacks like these. But guys, I'm excited to hear what you're thinking on this one. Do you guys think AOC will be finally punished for her crimes? Teaching these folks how to stay in this country illegally. You got to hop in the comment section. Comments are open. Also, make sure you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you did enjoy more content like this, catch you guys on the next one.